Hi everyone, this is Abdurrahman Gilal. Today we are going to learn about abstract classes. In our previous, presentations, we've been learning about classes and objects and how can we actually use those classes and objects in order to implement them to make inheritance, and we also learned about polymorphism. So today's topic is slightly different from them because it is something about a type of a class that is not completely implemented yet. So it is given a provision to us when we have so many design contracts where we have to enforce an implementer or implementation to follow some specific defined contract. For instance, there is a method that you really want it to be implemented in any of the classes, and you are not sure that how the implementation will look like. So what you have done in the beginning is that you have created its abstraction, and then you are enforcing the implementer to basically use that definition and put the code into it. So like use the declaration and put code into it. So this is what very important is to understand that it is quite often that most of the time we are not clear with the requirements, or we are clear with the requirements, so we wanted to enforce the requirements. So there are two different types of approaches that are being used in programming languages. One is called abstract classes, and another one is called interfacing. So we will be learning about interfacing in different presentation, but I thought to discuss a quick one about these abstract classes before in discussing about interfacing. Because if you understand abstraction very well or abstract classes very well, then definitely I mean, like interfacing will not be a big deal for you to understand. So the word abstract itself means that something that is not having physical existence. This is still under the idea level, or it's a level of just description. So there are a lot of useful reasons or very important reason if we are making a class that is not complete yet. So the first one is its own beauty of abstraction, which means that abstract classes allow you to define a template for a class without providing its complete implementation details. So this allows you to focus on the high level design of your classes without getting into the specific of how each method should be implemented. So this is the beauty first, is that it is abstraction, and it enforces you to have a concept of inheritance and polymorphism. So inheritance, what I mean from inheritance, that you to create a hierarchy of classes or subclasses which can extend an abstract class to inherit its properties and methods, while also providing their own unique implementation. Yeah, so you have a parent class which is abstract, but you have certain things defined in there. So you can actually come and you can, how to say, you can put your own implementation for the abstract classes. And also you can change the behavior of the parent class, sorry, parent methods, methods in the parent class. So we can do the polymorphism as well. So you can create a reference variable of the abstract class that and assign it to an object of subclass. So this allows you to treat different subclasses uniformly, simplifying your code, right? So, and the beauty, as I told you, that it actually enforces the design contract. So what I mean from the design contract, as I told you, that you have defined this class has to have this method, and that method has to be implemented. For example, if there is a uh, you know animal class, and then all element has to sleep, all animal has to eat. So but different animal eat differently. For example, there are omnivores, there are carnivores. So you don't know what an animal is going to eat. For instance, cat is going to eat something else, dog is going to eat something else, and the goat is going to eat something else. So but you wanted to enforce that it has to be, it has to be developed before finalizing the program. So this is what I say in design code, right? So Abstract classes are unique in a way that they are not being initialized as an object. So this is one of the beauty of that. So this, Walter Savage has defined abstract classes from the employee example. So let's say if you have a method such as same pay, and then you wanted to compare two methods, like if this pay and the other pay are same. So basically you are going to, how to say, just use this mechanism. So Walter Savage has his own way of understanding that there are several problems with this type of approach or method. For example, the get pay methods invoke in the same pay method, and there are get pay methods in each of the derived classes. There's no get pay method in the employee class. So, nor is there any way to define it, reasonably without knowing whether the employee is hourly or salaried. So, it's how to say, Walter Savage explanation, but definitely I'm going to give you another example shortly about then how I mean out of it. So from how to say, from making it simpler, so you can use it in abstract classes where you can postpone the definition of get pay. So it says like you should have a method that is like get pay method, and leave some kind of note in the employee class to indicate that it was accounted for, what purpose. So Java allows this type of abstraction. So this is one of the very beautiful things. So I remember that Java does not allow you to have abstract variables, but Java allows you to have abstract classes, abstract methods. So abstract classes, I mean to say, if there is a class that is a superclass, or there is a class that's a subclass or inner class. I'm not going to say subclass, but inner class can also be abstracted class. So what is inner class? This is a presentation for the next week. So I'm just going to keep it for simpler for you guys. So a method can be abstract, a class can be abstract. So there are two things that you have to understand. So let me quickly complete this short presentation prepared from the Walter Savage book. So it says that in order to postpone the definition of method, Java allows you to have abstract method to be declared, right? So it's very simple for us to declare a method by just keeping the keyword abstract along with it. So let's say like you have public abstract void sleep, okay, and then semicolon with parentheses. That's it. So, but what if do we have always abstract method in abstract class? So it's not necessary. An abstract class may have a method which are concrete. What I mean from the concrete, that they are having the definition or the code into that, the implementation into them. So when a class does not have implementation into it, we call that it's abstract. And when the class is having some implementation into it, we call it concrete class. It's the same thing that if a method, or sorry, I'm sorry, like a little bit confusing with my words. If a class has method and the method is having implementation, so we call that is a concrete method. If a class is a method which does not have, its definition or implementation, that's where we say the method is abstract method. So the same thing goes with the classes. So the class is having some method which are concrete, or which are, I'm sorry, if class has even one method that is abstract, so it's going to be the abstract class, right? That's the point. I'm sorry about mixing it up. Okay, so let's say, in order to create a abstract class, is very simple: public abstract double get paid. That's it. So by this way, we are making it abstract class. So, sorry, abstract method. So in the abstract method, we use just a keyword that's abstract. So here you don't have any definition, so you just have put the semicolon to it. So that's it. Now, if somebody wants to implement it, so they will be actually doing the same way as we have learned in polymorphism by using, extending the class first and then just implementing the name of the method without calling it abstract, right? So let's say if you have a class that is abstract class, for instance, I said, so how you have to do is then public, for instance, abstract class employee, and then you have private variable, and then you have this get pay method, which is abstract as well with the keyword abstract. If there's no keyword abstract, this is perfectly not an abstract class. And definitely if there is some description of implementation, that is the concrete class. So if a class does not have any abstract method, so we're gonna say that's a concrete class, right? Like in previous examples, we've been learning that um, uh, class animal, class dog. So all those were the example of concrete classes. So that's what the Walter Savage also say the same thing. So let's see. Okay, so number one that's important is I'll be explaining that you cannot have any instance of the abstract class. For example, if this is employee, and that employee is abstract, so you cannot make object of this class because that cannot be done. And if there is a method that is how to say abstract method, and if you do not have implementation of that method, you will find an error in the compiler error. So you have to implement the method. This is what I'm saying, the design contract enforcement, right? So okay, so let's say that you cannot create instance of the abstract class, and definitely abstract class is a type. So although an object of abstract class cannot be created, but it is perfectly fine to have parameters of abstract class type. You can pass through subclasses to, a superclass, and you still can use it as a class, right? So let me open up a compiler and try to run the simpler example for you. Give me a second. Okay, so welcome back. So as I was trying to tell you that, for instance, an abstract class has to have an abstract method, or it's like first, let's see how to declare an abstract class. So I have created a file called main file. So let's run it first. So I'm gonna do like this. So I can make abstract class like with this. I'm gonna make animal. It's a very simple example for me to explain. Let's say I'm gonna make a variable called private name of the, let's say, name of the animal, any animal, right? So first thing is that, as I said to you, that do we have any method that we wanted to make sure that to be implemented? So we want to give a method such as I just give you an example. I'm gonna say, let's say, abstract, and I'm gonna say void, and this one is eat. Every animal eats, so we have to make sure that the animal that we are making has to eat. So this is going to be abstract method. So it's also we can make abstract class like abstract method such as okay, so such as void, and then I'm gonna say make sound, and that's it. So like as I told you, if I now created a main class such as class, sorry. Okay, class main, because this is my file name, so I have to make sure that I have main. So I'm gonna main public static void main, and then a string, any name that I wanted to give here. And then I'm gonna make a instance of this class. Let's try that. So animal, that is the class. And then I say dog, my animal, and then I'm gonna say animal. So you're gonna see that there is an error that is coming along. So what kind of error is that? If I see you cannot resolve that, okay, there is an error. So, okay, animal abstract cannot be initiated. So this is the point, right? So you cannot initiate the abstract class variables, or you cannot make instance of abstract class, right? That's the point. So now what to do? So let me make, I know that I have a class called dog, and dog is the one that extends, because must remember that the animal is a class, so class has to be extended. If it was the interface, then we could have done it a different way. But because that's, the class, so it has to be extended, right? So I can do animal, now extension is done. Okay, so one more thing is that is very important to understand that you can only extend from one class. So means superclass. So the subclass such as dog has to have only one parent class. That's the point that we have to understand. Okay, so now if I do not implement them, so what's going to happen? So let me just make one method to quick understanding. So let's say if I don't implement this one, this how to say animal class, so what will happen? So I may have my own way of defining things, such as I'm gonna say like it has a method called, let's say, dog, like say public void. Now let me make it simpler. Okay, void. Let's say eat, and this is the method that is basically coming from this class. Okay, excuse me. So let's say just simple system.out.println, and you say dog eats, right? So I did not implement that, so I'm gonna make let's say the instance of the dog. So it looks fine, right? But it's still having the same error because if you see, there's, the class dog must either be declared abstract or implement the abstract method make sound in animal. So from the definition, from the comment given by the compiler, we make sure that we have missed some implementation. So you cannot run it, as I told you, if you have, so this is what I call, contract enforcement, that you have to follow this contract. So design enforcement, right? So now I have to, because I know that if I don't make it, I can't run it. So I say make sound. So now I'm gonna say system.out or println. So dog box. So this is now implemented nicely. So let's say dog eats and dog don't make sound. So these are two methods. So let me run them. Let's see if it works fine. So, okay, so there is an error. Okay, cannot find symbol. This one. Okay, so because I have to make it a string like this, not the other way. Sorry about that. Okay, run about now. Okay, so dog eats and but so here's a quick understanding that we have an abstract class, and then we have an abstract method, and it's not necessary that if you do not have any abstract methods, it's also fine because later you can put the contract. So you may have a variable, and then how you can pass the, you may have a constructor here. For example, you have this as a method. So let's say you wanted to make how to say a method, so public, let's say, I'm gonna call the constructor for that animal, and then I'm gonna say, what's the name of this? How to say? I have known that I have to take name in here, so I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna print here, such as name under, sorry, this dot name and is equals to n. So any name that is being passed here has to be, assigned here. So this is a private one, so I have to make a, let's say, void get name in this class, which means that if anybody calls this method, we'll get the name of the dog. So what is the name of the dog? So just return name. So we have to make sure that this returns a string. So let's make it easy peasy. So, okay. So now we have a abstract class. In abstract class, we have a constructor. We have also a method with definition, and we have a method that is abstract. So it is everything that we have. Now, how to pass the, because we cannot initiate, we cannot initialize an object to the class. So how are we gonna pass the value? So that's an error. So how are we going to do that? So you know that if we make an object, so let's say if I'm making object here, if I pass any value, it will be coming here. So this is the, I'm going to say public dog, and I receive as a string, and I say this name, and then I'm gonna create now super, and I pass this name to super. So as soon as I super, it will go right here, and it will assign this to this. So now if I wanted to retrieve this value, I can call this get name. So that's very simple thing. Or if I wanted to make this as a, I wanted to print it here. So that specific dog, for example, I wanted to say, okay, so I wanted to say here, so let's say if I wanted to make any instance, I can pass it here, or I can take from animal instance. So it's up to me as the way I wanted to pass. So let's say I'm gonna say my puppy is my dog. So puppy, is passing to the dog, and my dog have now this get name. So get name, let's run it and see how it works. So there is a semicolon error. There is an error of semicolon that I missed. So let's run it. So you're gonna see that, okay, we don't have any return. That's very strange. Give me a second, go back to the definition. So when we call, okay, so we didn't actually, we have not printed yet. So it's good. I thought like I have done like print dot, Alan there. So now print Alan, get name, and then that's it. Okay, sorry. We have to put dog dot get name. There you go. Perfectly fine. So run it. Yeah, there you go, puppy. So puppy is not coming from dog class, it's coming from the parent class, that is the animal class. I hope it makes some sense. If you just give you a quick understanding once again, that abstract class may have constructor, we have complete or concrete classes, or we have some abstract abstract methods. So once you have any abstract method that it has to be developed or implemented during the development of the code or program, otherwise you cannot complete the contract. So in order to develop, it's the same way that you have to extend the animal class first so that you are now eligible to make the polymorphism or make the inheritance. So there you have, for instance, the, make sound method with the same definition or declaration without the word keyword call abstract, and you can put the implementation. So this is how it is going to show you that it is basically having multiple implementation. Sorry, first one implementation or maybe multiple implementation, and then you can make the object of the animal class, and then dog class, and then you can use it in a way that you use other classes. I hope it makes some sense. If you got any confusion that you want to discuss and ask with me, please do not hesitate to leave me in a comment. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.